Hello, this is Lolly. Today I want to talk about Teflon bone folders. I'm going to zoom in here. Um, I, you may know I have been on the search for the perfect bone folder forever, and I actually had found it, and then that company quit manufacturing it, and I used to carry them in my shop until they quit manufacturing it. I've been using the Teflon bone folders. I do like them. When they first came out, there was only one place to buy them, and they were super expensive. You can see the size of this one here. I'm going to zoom in a little. Okay, this one is the 3/4 inch wide, and it is 6 1/4 inches long. That's pretty standard for a large one. And when these came out, the manufacturer, the person who was selling these, would not put them in stores. She wouldn't let stores carry them. And so to buy one bone folder, it was really expensive. I just remember that I paid about $30 to $35 to order it and pay to have it shipped. And then I get it and find out that the tip was so blunt as to make actual scoring near impossible. Because instead of scoring a nice crisp line, what it did was it made a huge wide ditch in the paper, which is not a really good score line. So I end up scoring with something else and then using this for burnishing. So that was discouraging, and it's a nice paperweight right now. Then Tim Holtz came out with his brand, but it's a little smaller. It's about 6 1/8, and it's only 1/2 inch wide. This is my biggest frustration with this one, is it's not wide like I like it to be. I like it to be a little wider. Let me show you. I like to have a little more width as I'm creasing, so I'm not having to be so perfect to get right there on the line. So that was my main concern. His, however, was pointier, and so you could, I'll show you right here. I know it's having a hard time focusing. So the one on the right is the Tim Holtz, and you can see that it is pointier. And then recently, I discovered these on Amazon. They are basically the same dimensions as the original one I was showing you. They are longer, they are wider. I love them. They are a really good price point. Tim Holtz, these ones are $20, and I have these in my shop. They are pointier this way than the original ones, but when you turn them sideways, they are also a little bit of a fat tip. They're hard to score with. And my biggest concern about this one, if you compare, look at the tips, the rounded, the fat end, it's slightly rounded. I like to have the complete squared off end. However, to be fair, when I do burnish with these, I'm not really noticing a problem, but I just would like it to be a little more square than what it is. And then I got to thinking, a couple things prompt my thought process here. One is, when I was reading reviews of these, people were complaining about how soft it is. That's because it's plastic. It's a Teflon bone folder. All of these are softer than you are going to find on a real bone folder. And the other thing that prompted me was that I was storing my Tim Holtz one vertically. It was in a silicone cup, and so it was cushiony, but still it was denting the tip of my the actual scoring end, making it difficult. It was rough. And so I decided, if they're that soft, why can't I sand it down? So I have this 400 grit sandpaper. I've dampened it, and what I'm doing is I am pushing away from the tip like this, very gently, and I got it wet so that I wouldn't have plastic dust flying in the air, and it did the trick. It did a remarkable job of smoothing that down. So now I'm thinking, well, what if I could sharpen these tips or even flatten this out? So let me get this more wet than it actually is. So I'm just going to lay a towel here and put that down and get some more water on that. You could also use a mask, or you could do this underwater. That would also work. So this is a test, folks. I want to see first if I can sharpen the point on this a little bit. And now that I can see, now that I have extra water here, I can actually push a little harder. Oh yes, it's definitely working. Oh wow. Okay, now let me put some black paper underneath this so you can hopefully see. Can you see how I've been able to get a finer point there? Oh my goodness, this is game changing. Now let me use this and test it out. Yep. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy. Okay, now the question is, can I level this out a little bit? And I think for that I want a little harder surface underneath here. So I'm just going to rub back and forth this way to see if I can level that up and get some of that roundness off of there. Yep, it's working. I can actually see the little Teflon flakes in my water here. And when I'm done, I'm going to dump this into a trash can. Oh my gosh, folks, this is great. So what I have done is I have put the Tim Holtz bone folders on clearance in my shop. If you want one, now is the time to get one. And I'm going to keep recommending this brand from Amazon because the price point is so good. It's just under $10 for the large bone folder. And if you're an Amazon Prime member, that's $10 shipped for the large one compared to $20. Oh, this is going to be perfect. You know, in my search for the perfect bone folder, I almost ordered through a manufacturer to have my own bone folders designed according to my dimensions. And because this is working so well, I am not going to do that now. I'm just going to say, go on Amazon. Okay, that is way less rounded than it was, and I can keep working on it. I'm moving around to new places in the sandpaper. I could also start with a coarser sandpaper than what I have. And then when I'm done, what I want to do is, again, just kind of round the rough edges off again. So I have a nice smooth surface, and I am so happy with how this is turning out. So there you go. You can alter these and customize them according to your specifications. So thank you for watching. I will give you the link down below, and what I'm giving you a link to is there's two of them on Amazon. One of them is this size, the Tim Holtz size. One of them is this size, which is the 3/4 inch wide one. Just remember, they're soft. They do bend, or not bend, they don't bend much, but I mean they do conform to sanding. So you could use a stronger or a rougher sandpaper than 400 grit to start off with if you really want to make significant changes to them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that helps you as much as it did me, because I'm, like I said, I'm happy about it. And I was sanding this way, you know, like this way, like this. But if you want, you could go this way too and really get a lot off of there a lot faster. So please look at the links down below under this video for how to get yours from Amazon as well. And also I'll give you the link to the Tim Holtz one if you really want those. They are, you know, if you want them for travel, that would be a great size as well. They're on clearance in my shop. Both of these, I would recommend storing them flat and not vertically in anything, because it will dull the tips. Love this video and want more craft tutorials similar to this, and make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you can be notified whenever I put up new content.